All right. Looks like we are all set here. Letting my webcam get adjusted here. Looks like we're looking pretty good. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome back and welcome to another Engineering the Markets. Happy Monday to everyone joining us. My name is Jared and it is December 5th, 2022. So we're well into our first full week of December. We had a pretty wild week of trade last week. A lot of data sensitivity in the market, which we'll cover more generally, but also a little bit of a characteristic of some possible change to come. And as we always do on Mondays, we're going to start off by just looking at the S&P expected move for the week. For those who are just joining us or have never seen this done before, every single week we look at the S&P 500 index. We go to the option market and we find the expected move based on how the options have priced volatility for the week. The way this works is every single Monday, I'm looking at something like the Friday expiration. In this case, it would be December 9th. I'm also making sure that the platform only shows data relative to a closed market. You might see a little bit of a difference here if you are using live Monday data, as the market is in pre-market starting to shift and a little bit of hedging in the futures market is changing. But all in all, the number I'm concerned with is this one right here, which is about 66.46 plus or minus for the week. And what this shows is the market's place capacity for movement, along with what the option risk is centered around. If I'm an options trader or someone who requires option coverage for certain positions that I may be carrying, and if I'm using the SPX, which is one of the largest notional marketplaces that we have, then this is kind of where most of the trade starts and is centered. It's where a lot of risk also can build throughout the week. And as the market's price starts to move around this area of quote unquote inflection, you will often see different types of trade forming throughout the market. Things that maybe are bigger range or more volatile, especially if you get outside of these prices. So that's kind of the 30,000 foot view of why we do this. But how does it work? And for last week, I think it's a pretty clear representation of some I would say derived trade that comes from this expected move, along with noticing just how price tends to respond to these levels. What you'll notice is last week on Tuesday, we were able to move the full, at that point in time, $76 or 76 points in the SPX. And that's a pretty significant price move relative to the fact that it's only taking 2 days as opposed to the full week. So the option market did see some risk on Tuesday and Wednesday as we were trading near that lower bound, about 395 in the S&P and 339.50 in the SPX. That's obviously a very technically important price as well. On Wednesday, we had a catalyst, was a slightly more dovish response from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, along with some context as to both the next rate hike, which probabilistically is looking like 50 basis points, but additionally some of the 2023 targeting and some of the drivers towards that final potential leg of quantitative tightening. So all of these characteristics, the market interpreted as relatively dovish and therefore a bit bullish. We saw an explosion of price activity on Wednesday. And as we moved higher, you'll notice on Thursday, we actually tagged the upper bound of the expected move. I'll give it, we didn't necessarily get 41.02. We kind of topped out at 410, a little bit of a psychological whole dollar price. But all in all, the market was able to transact through this expected move range. And what's important to note here is, one, sort of the price behavior, usually around the boundaries of the expected move. Getting outside of expected move is supposed to be uncharacteristic of a market, especially closing outside of the expected move on the end of the session. So anytime we're looking for like bullish or bearish trades, there is a little bit of edge to buying near the lower bounds and selling near the upper bounds, with the understanding that the stop or the risk is that we have a breach, not necessarily just a mild, move through price, but more so a closure outside of those boundaries. That tends to be somewhat characteristic of the option market's risk being tested. And usually most tests are successful, but in the case of breaches, we do have price activity somewhat more characteristic like this, where we get way outside and it's a very clear breakout or move outside of range. Secondly, it's also important to note that last week was a little strange in how we moved from both the lower bound to the upper bound. We even set up roughly on the close of the previous week and saw the Friday jobs report actually respond to the upside. I think it was the jobs report. Forgetting my catalysts in this market. There's so many to track. But yeah, whatever data drove the pre-market session, we saw that actually respond back to previous day close. Yeah, non-farm payroll. That's what it was, not jobs report. What's important to note about this is actually kind of rare to see the market go from the lows to the highs. Oftentimes, I would say if you're playing off the lows, you want to be targeting the close. If you're playing off the highs, you want to target the close. Both of those would have worked. But to see it go from low to high, I'd have to look back pretty far in time. And I think the last one that I spotted was somewhere around here. And you can see that even we didn't quite tag the lower bounds, from these red little dashes. So the market volatility right now might seem like it's within its little box, but inside of that box, there's a lot of price move going on. And that price movement is somewhat derivative of the sensitivity to data that the market is currently experiencing. This is kind of a little bit of the theme this week, albeit we might start to see this reduce in the void of catalyst. But what's important to note here is that we're seeing price response pretty much in line with data. A lot of our, I would say, trending upthrust, our new highs in this this corrective move that we've had so far on the S&P, all of this has been significantly impacted by new data, whether it be new CPI, new dovish behavior from the Fed. And then more appropriately, we're even seeing the downside moves not necessarily be sustained. Last Friday was characteristic of that. I think a lot of bears were looking for something to kind of break this market down, and price, unfortunately, did not agree. So we did see a move back to previous day close near the end of the session. And when we look at the technicals, it makes sense why to be bearish at these prices. For one, if you're just following simple trend lines, this is an upper extension of the market. We have gone essentially from channel low to channel high. The channel lows are, of course, a little bit more dramatic in their creation. They're not necessarily as, I would say, like precise as the upper bounds, but this is often how channels work in markets. If you have a bullish channel, it's often quite simple to be buying channel support so long as it lasts. But the upper bounds can breach. They can kind of be disruptive near the highs, and it's hard to fade a bullish channel, even if you have the right idea and the right price region. Same thing with the bearish channel. Stability at the lows is challenging. It's often very volatile, and usually it's indicative of the last wave of bears often covering out, some new bullish behavior starting to form over time, and just that strong disruption simply because we have made new swing lows in the market. New price regions are being explored. But that was back in October. Right now we're in December. We are hitting our upper trend line. And the question is, should we be bearish up here? Is the market offering us a good price region, risk to reward, relative to another sell swing in the upcoming weeks? I would say that right now the picture is a little bit 50-50. For one, we don't necessarily have a change in trend. I think a lot of bearish positions were starting to build as we were trading sideways in the expectation that we could see another sell swing. And of course, there was a price reaction that probably put a lot of bears either underwater or forced them out of the market. As we broke that channel high, and even more importantly, as we're kind of holding above the channel high, as far as this rally in the market, there's only one session of bearish positions that are still hanging in there, and that's Thursday. It's the spike high that we have on Thursday. Another thing to kind of look at here is, well, is the rally's target achieved? And this is where a lot of different technicians start to just put together regions of price, not necessarily those specifics. But there are some targets that have been achieved and some targets that have not. The obvious one is the bearish channel. That target has been achieved. It was achieved on Thursday. So if you're willing to take off risk, especially as a bull, in the expectation that this channel could start to sell, this would be the first price target to look at taking off some of that risk. The second one would be some sort of symmetry. And this is where we've seen this move before. We know how the market can sell at these upper extensions. And if we start to see that behavior once again, have we reached the same low to high price move relative to an extension? As we kind of anchor to here, what you'll notice is we have a little bit more left to go. So a secondary symmetry target, something that simply reflects the price move back from June to August, would indicate that 418 SPY is another area to consider for additional upside. Now, obviously, getting into position at these highs is going to be a little tricky, but you'll notice that there is just a key trend line supporting the two relative upthrusts that we've had so far. Really, we haven't broken trend until we cleared this high, and there's been two pullbacks along the way. Arguably, this is one as well, with the range that we were setting last couple of weeks. So second target would be 418. The final one is more tricky because we don't have clarity on this particular structure quite yet. But there are some arguments out there that if this continues and we see more bullish updrift or upthrust in the market, low volatility environment currently, weakening dollar, there's a lot of reasons to think that a lot of the risk is coming off, and we do potentially have a more dovish Fed, the final price target, at least from low to high, before we see a deeper correction, something that would change daily trends, is a range target. And what's interesting about this is you have to figure out where the range is derived. Oftentimes when I look at these low to high moves, especially when you're clearing a lot of consolidative price on the previous sell swing, there is potential for a range. But the range here is of significant magnitude. For one, why might you think a range is forming? Well, the first characteristic that's a little dissimilar from previous sell swings is this behavior right here. And this is essentially, by a lot of technicians' definition, some sort of bearish trap. Wyckovian traders are going to call it a spring. We need to see the range form in order for that to be fully confirmed. But essentially it's a low close to a previous relative low with little to no follow through. I would argue that the additional characteristic is the low and the bounce from it had to break at least the shorter term trends. In this case, there was a daily downtrend that broke, but of course we saw a collapse in that price once the high was established. So these range definitions, they usually take months. I mean, a good trading range is not a short-term endeavor, but most ranges we've seen have been highly advantageous for future trade. And the one that most people are familiar with, at least last year, was the IWM. You'll notice here there was a distribution range, a much high in price range that often had these characteristics. You have things like sell swings breaking previous trending structures, highs with a lack of follow through that led to complete sells to the lows, and then most of the price remained trapped within this region. Obviously not necessarily as simple as the SPY range could form to be, but this is kind of the characteristic. And you'll notice this is about a year's worth of trade, with the final upthrust leading to the collapse of small caps. This was basically the high, the all-time high, and then the break back into range. This is when you knew that this was no longer bullish. This collapse right here, and this is really when things started to sell late last year. So gaps, ranges, these things take time, but the argument for the range trader, as I kind of circle back here, is that in order for this to be a range, we need to test that previous high. And what that does is it offers us our final bullish target, which would be SPY 430. Now that might seem weird. It might seem almost unprobabilistic or very low probability of occurring. But just remember, markets do like to test and really put pressure on all participants who are on the wrong side of the trade. Right now, bears are struggling to find a relative top. And what I would argue here is that oftentimes the range approach puts the most pressure on every single bearish position since the previous sell swing. The argument being that there are some bears still left in this market, and most of their price region has been defended. Essentially, it's when the head and shoulders structure back in August was formed, and then of course our confirmation breaking our neckline. These bears are so far at least still not threatened. They haven't really been tested quite yet, but a range will do that. It'll often be the structure that'll be the most pressure on a position near a relative high or relative low. And usually one thing to look for is when you have these like false bottoms, failed breakdowns, usually just high to low extensions. Not to say that this was a false breakdown because we were coming from relative highs, but it's that characteristic that the market didn't want to sell any further. And where to go after that is to probably test those who were bearish into that price. So there's certainly some argument for these types of inflections, most of which have been achieved. The 418, which is our symmetry target, and then that last leg, which would be quite interesting into December, as most people are expecting some sort of Santa Claus type rally near the end of December. That would be that final extension, moving into something like 430 SPY or a little bit higher to really push out any price bear out there. So it's amazing the potential of this market. Just kind of reflect on how these moves have formed this year, because most of our medium-term trade, say the long term, is more of this flagging kind of bearish structure leading into a possible extension. The medium-term trade has been defined by these highs and lows. The characteristic of this buy and sell swing has driven sector performance. Obviously, there are some still leads, but there's also laggards out there. There's something in between, just pretty much for everybody. There's new strength in the market. You know, as I kind of cycle through, the characteristic highs and lows are somewhat attached to this channel, and you can see how the market swings in and out, how the market responds in and out through defensive and risky assets. All of this is just components of a larger price definition and to some degree a more technically driven marketplace. For the week ahead, this particular week doesn't necessarily show a ton of data that would be market driving. I'm actually on last week. Let me push back to this week. But the argument that I make from last week is that we are highly sensitive to anything that would indicate bullish or bearish, dovish or hawkish behavior from, more specifically, the Fed. And what's even more interesting as we get into our topic of the Fed, as I pull up the Fed rates once again. This is the week prior to FOMC. So as we get closer, start keeping an eye on how this data is driving probabilities. The market currently has a much higher probability, about a 3/4 probability of a 50-point rate hike. The market sees a Fed willing to step back slightly and start to project their final destination out in May. At least for the probabilistic model, we're looking at about a 5% Fed rate as soon as May, but some probabilities show it occurring in March. It kind of depends on if we step back into a more aggressive cycle at the beginning of next year. But these are sort of ending targets. They're where it's at least currently where the market sees the end of this particular quantitative tightening cycle. And while that doesn't mean the Fed is pivoting, the market has information. It's relatively known, it's highly probable, and as we often like to say, the market is pricing it in. It's putting all of that into its risky bucket and saying, let's move forward and look for the next reason to be bullish or bearish. For the most part, markets especially when we look at just overall equities, have a bullish lean. Money tends to flow into equities over time. And the long-term thesis here is that things do tend to drift back to new highs over the long term, especially in certain assets. A lot of our risk factors are coming off. Don't necessarily let up your guard on the short term. Things are not necessarily at the best time to be buying. We could see another corrective move, but that corrective move on a weekly basis or just something a little bit of an extreme sell might be viable. It might provide us the next pullback and opportunity to look for additional high side targets, some of those more opportunistic or optimistic SPY targets. I'm also looking across to see for any reason to think the opposite. You can have your reason to be bullish or bearish. You're just looking for disruption in that thesis. We'll look at this a little bit more tomorrow, just given time, but there isn't really much under the hood that's showing disparity, or I always forget the word, divergence. MACD so far confirming the move, RSI still confirming relative strength through these upswings. It's a bad time from the technical side to be buying, but so far things are still pushing in one direction, and we haven't really seen a disruption in that quite yet. So be cautiously optimistic. This market may have a little bit more to go. There's some reasons technically to think that. There's some structures that still haven't quite gotten to those final price targets that I think are in alignment with the sell swings. And that alone is just putting pressure on the bearish side of the market. Essentially, we don't have a high quite yet. It can be forming, it can be kind of tricking us a little bit, but so far things still look relatively stable from a price perspective. So keep all that in mind as you're trading. Be aware of some of the moves to value that we're seeing. Friday was a great example of one, if you want an example, and trade accordingly. Don't let this market trap you at bad prices just because of a reaction to data. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you? How was your
Doing
weekend?
doing good. Weekend was good, man. Had a good time. Had friends and family over for my wife's birthday celebration, so that was fun. Had a good time, man. Had a real good time. So
Nice.
hopefully everyone else did as well. Um, Let's get into it, guys. So a lot going on. First, let's give Jared a big thumbs up for engineering the markets every Monday through Thursday as he take us over through a lot of the big picture stuff here, a lot of some of the possible plays that might happen in the market here on a macro basis. So this morning, right now, our gappers list a little bit on the green side. Got a couple of stuff doing very well. Besides Tesla, which is bouncing back now, has actually been doing
Yeah,
pretty
I was going
good.
to mention this. So Tesla's been down. There's a report that they're reducing their Model Y production in their Shanghai plant by 20%. And literally 4 minutes ago, broke over the squawk. They're denying that this is the case. That they're not doing this. They're popping on this. They started running a little bit, so it might have come out somewhere else, or somebody had an inkling prior, and then it started going. I'm actually in a trade on it.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah,
From
I'm looking at
180,
the
189.60 ish.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, this is a great,
So,
great bounce here based on some incorrect data. We're gonna have to change our title here.
yeah,
Tesla
I was just
not
thinking the same
cutting.
thing.
We're gonna put Tesla. We'll adjust it later. We'll put Tesla not cutting production. There we go. Little correction there, and we'll save that.
Or just put in a question mark.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. But yeah, question mark would be good too. All right, guys, excellent. So as at the moment, we again a lot going on here on our gap up list. Things are looking pretty good. A couple of things in the red. Not some great tickers. I think some of these we saw last week also being quite active. We'll see if there's any possible opportunities there. Let's go ahead and jump onto our market post. Norm, kind of get an idea of what's happening throughout the week.
Yeah, man, this is not the biggest week of data, but we've got a big one, some big stuff coming up next week. Today we've got S&P U.S. Services PMI. That's at 9:45, 10 a.m. ISM Services Index factory orders 10 a.m. There's no Fed speakers this week. They're in a dark period before their report or their meeting next week, and then their rate decision and such on Wednesday. We do have PPI final demand on Friday. And then next week, it starts to get busy again with CPI data on Tuesday, the 13th. And then, of course, they're meeting Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday, they'll announce their policy decisions. And then a whole bunch of stuff coming out Thursday, Friday. So busy couple of weeks, but not too crazy this week. Um, we'll see. You are muted.
Excuse me. There we go. We're gonna get to our stuff from remove our stuff from last week. Control A, Control X gets rid of that, and then let's see what's going on here on our gap up list. We'll start there. AOVA. So let's take a look at this. This is up 22%. Lower price stock here below $10 at the moment. 514,000. Not great pre-market activity, but I do like the pop here, Norm. Do we have any good news on this worth
It's a
watching?
biotech. Really, the only thing I've seen is that that a director bought 10 million shares. Uh, that was reported late on Friday. So
Okay. All right. So that's good news when you got an executive buying, his stock. Um, I'm not sure, man. Possible. We'll come back to it. I think we'll find something better today. I see a lot of names on the Gab Up list, just kind of skimming through it that I like. I don't think this one will survive on our list today, but let's just see. DADA, so Dada is here. This is up 18.8, 317,000. Another ticker that does not look very good as far as the big picture here, but they've been on a little run here the last couple of days.
they're
Uh,
just moving with China primarily, I believe. China's up. You see the vast majority of tickers we have,
yeah.
almost everything from data down to what's the first non-Chinese I see? Mara. The last one. The first one and the last one on our list are
Yeah.
non-Chinese.
Yeah.
Everything
Man,
else is
look at
Chinese.
this. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh yeah, COVID supposedly easing COVID restrictions. So we've seen a lot of that recently.
we've seen a whole lot of back and forth on that, which again has created some opportunities for us. Let's take a look. We got a bunch here, guys. We got Dad, as you can see here. We got Billy. We got XBEV. Some of the better names. EH. This is not good, not great. And then Neo, and I'm sure some other ones. Baidu. But I mean, the whole gang is here, guys. Every Chinese ticker we have traded in the last 3 years is on this list today. That's what it looks like, at least. I'm gonna look at Neo, right? Neo, we know, can trade very well. Today they got great volume, guys. 4.8 million shares traded. That's my type of action I like to see on Neo. Someone on YouTube said Neo to $40. Was that Dean? I don't know about all that, but
What's that?
they're Neo to $40. Dean on our YouTube chat. Don't know about all of that, but they're in play today. Let's just stick with that for now. So definitely in play today. Let's see Baba, another one that we like very much. They are up 4.5. Actually, Baba, for the type of morning that it is, not great volume, only 860,000. Right, I would expect a little bit more. Not saying it's bad, that's good volume, but I expected more for some reason. But let's put them on here. Secondary for now. I like Neo. I think is my favorite one out of all of these. PDD is interesting, coming back down here a little bit from the highs. I mean, there's a ton, guys. Becky, you have Baidu, doesn't look great. Futu, Lee. Yeah, it's just actually Lee. Looks like the Lee and Neo out of this group and XBEV seem to have the better pre-market activity with very, very good volume compared to the rest of the gang here. So I'm gonna add XBEV as well. I'm not gonna put Lee. It's just too many Chinese car makers on this list. I think Neo, XBEV, and Baba as a secondary are good for now. Now, if we scroll down, what else is not Chinese on here? You said Mara. I think Mara just hopped off my list. What else do we have here? Full Truck Alliance, no. TME.
Everything on there is Chinese.
Oh no, this is no good. ATVI is the only one I see that's
ATVI isn't even on my list anymore. So
yeah.
I don't. Ours, we might be a little bit out of sync.
Yeah, that's
but
all, yeah.
ATVI, yes, they've been. ATVI's had some issues because of that Microsoft merger problem that we've discussed previously. So
Yeah,
they're up
yeah.
a little bit. I don't know that there's anything aside from that going on. I really haven't seen anything.
That's the one where they kind of blocked the merger, right? They kind of like it was
Well,
being held for
there was
review or
concern.
something.
I believe the
Yeah.
FTC was threatening to do so.
Okay, gotcha. So, all right. So again, ATVI, I don't know we're gonna get a whole lot out of this. They're up 2.1 today, 545. We'll put it as a possible. They do got some okay volume for how they typically trade. But we'll see. Let's see what this actually does. All right, on the gap down list, I don't have too much hopes besides the Tesla and Piton, but HZNP, this is no good, guys. We saw this last week. I mean, it was just wild to trade. Huge gap up. I forget what the catalyst was on this, but it wasn't great. Again, can't remember. Be careful now, guys. This thing, again, just the volume.
Yeah, there were a couple of pharma companies talking about taking this over potentially. That was what they were. That was the catalyst. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it's a wild one.
Yeah, this thing trades very thin, so be very, very careful. I won't add it to my list. I think today I'll have some better stuff to look at. CPNG this morning, this does not trade well. Just look at the price action here on the daily, very choppy. Pre-market activity is not exciting neither. So again, I'm not inclined to keep this on my list, guys. Going to keep it off for now. Unless Norm, you tell me there's some kind of catalyst that we have to watch. But
I'm not really seeing any catalyst. It's the Amazon of South Korea, but I don't really see any catalyst this morning. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, yeah. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla definitely in play, especially after what's happening. What happened here with a missed report looks like. So we'll add Tesla on here. Oh, not that Tesla. No, not that one. There we go. And again, 4.5 million shares traded with a miscommunication, and now as Norm mentioned earlier, reports of it not being true. Norm is in here from 189. You said you're in this trade.
I'm
right?
out now.
Oh, you're out now. Okay, cool, cool. Here is Piton, guys. Piton this morning. I mean, they're on this list, but they're barely making this list. They're down 1.6, 109,000. Not a great pre-market activity. Had a great day on Friday. Nice pop there. Not really in play unless they're looking to get more volume. Gonna add them as a secondary.
Wait, why is that?
Why did that pop? Up? Yeah.
Something seems to be funky with your list, my man.
Yeah, this is not on here.
Well, it doesn't have the volume, and I guess it barely has the volume, but it
Barely
doesn't
has
have
the
a
volume.
gap.
Yeah. Yeah, the gap I'm showing negative 1.6 on my something is
Shouldn't be enough
delayed
to
because
put it on your list.
yeah, because you see on Peter showing
It must have dropped and then come back up.
yeah,
You
yeah.
might want to
Let me just
refresh.
yeah, there we
There
go.
you
See if I
go. Just
refresh.
delete it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and close this trade ideas out, guys. I'm gonna reopen it again just to make sure something's funky with it because it is showing like a big delay, like bigger than usual. So it could just be on my end. Yeah, I was gonna say like, why is this on here? I don't see besides a big day Friday. It's not really nothing happening. So we'll get rid of Pete on there. All right, let's see. Let's resync this stuff up. Make sure everything is looking good here. All right, so Piton is gone, and we'll link this up again with our trade ideas. Okay, perfect. All right, and Tesla we have on deck. So right now it's just three guys: Neo, XBEV, and Tesla, all car makers. And then towards the bottom we got Baba, IOVA, and ATVI. Just some ones that have some good volume and activity at the moment. Norm, anything you like on your end so far?
Still looking, man. It's
It's
kind
that
of a
great. Yeah.
slow building morning.
Yeah, it really is for this Monday as we get going here. Let's take it to a room. What do you guys like this morning? I saw a comment over on YouTube. Someone asked, why not? Let me get the comment here. Why we don't like Lee or Billy for Chinese tickers? No, they're good too. They're actually, today they're in play, man. Today, look at Billy is up 16.3, 2.2 million shares traded. So Billy is in play. You have, what's the other one? Lee also is in play. Actually, I thought I added Lee, but I guess not. But if you compare, for example, let's just take Billy. Look at Billy's pre-market activity compared to like a Neo, right? Neo looks much cleaner, more volume. Same thing
Well,
with
Neo's
XPEF.
traded 4.3 million shares.
Mm-hmm.
XPEV's traded 3.7 million
Yeah,
shares almost, and Lee at
yeah,
832,000. That would be the determining factor in my book if I was trying to
yeah. Just
decide between all those.
just the sheer volume, guys. It's a lot more. And in the past, we've seen in the most recent past, we've seen Neo and XPEF trade a lot better. So they're gonna make the cut before Billy and Lee does. Not saying they're not. They're today they're gonna get some action, but I still prefer the other ones here. Uh, Dustin Piton is on your scanner. Yeah, it should have dropped off now. It dropped off mine. So it should dropped off now. It's going. It's not really in place. Kind of flat at the moment. All right, let's see what else you guys like this morning. Some ETFs there. Let's look at Oxy. Let's see what Oxy is doing for us today. If we take a look at Oxy, man, their dailies has been brutal. Yeah, I mean you can't tell much about what's going on here, right? Maybe a possible for now. I don't know how to read this
Oil's
pre-market
up
because
3% this morning. So
yeah, there's just not a lot going on in the actual ticker at the moment. They're up 1.3, but again, they don't give you a whole lot pre-market, as you guys know. So we'll keep an eye on it. Lee has earnings Fridays. Also, it'll be in play. It'll be in play on Friday for sure. We'll have it on our list. Pre-market or probably pre-market based on where they're located. So yeah, so we'll look at that. Then anything else, guys? I know it's a slim morning. Not a whole lot to pick from at the moment. LMT. That's what those for Jared. I'm going two back on the comments. Okay. All right. All right. Excellent, guys. So what is this one? SAIC. Oh my goodness. No. Guys, no, you don't want to watch this. There's just nothing happening here. I mean, there's no volume. 6,000 shares. This thing is not in play.
Yeah.
Very careful. Very careful.
I actually used to be a client of mine back in the day. It's like
What did they do?
it's a weird private public partnership governmental quasi-governmental deal that comes up with scientific solutions. I remember one of the things they were doing it was back in like 10 years ago when they were my client. They were trying to develop football helmets that would save people from head injuries, do a better job of saving people from head injuries and stuff. It's an interesting business.
Like
Not to
concussions
trade though.
or something. I mean, but does the helmets do that now? So I wonder how they will.
They're trying to improve them through science. See?
Okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting business.
That's just
for
one
sure.
little project they have. They
Yeah.
do all kinds of stuff for the government. That was just one little thing.
Yeah. They don't trade very well. And the volume,
No.
guys, very, very light. I mean, under 1 million here for the most part. So you want to be just careful if you're going to be getting in this one. I know
They
it's
had
an
earnings this
play.
morning, but
Yeah.
I mean, even with earnings, they don't have much going
Yeah.
on.
Not a whole lot going on. Yep. All right, Pete, I'm going back and forth here on our gappers list, but not much going on there. I got Mara on deck now here. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else, but it looks like this is our list right now. Let's see how it plays out, see how what the SPY does and how things are going to end up in a couple of minutes here. SPY slightly weak this morning, but a lot of activity though. You get a lot of activity this pre-market on the SPY, so we'll see how this is going to end up in a couple of minutes here. All right, let's head over to our announcements. We'll get over to our chat room. Our website, bearabletraders.com, and we can see what's coming up for the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. All right. Every Monday tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got onboarding technology with Carlos. This is especially good for newer members. You can go dip your foot in the water, see how it feels, see what BBT is about, your best way to get around here. So be sure to check that out, especially if you're newer. Then on Tuesdays, we have strategy. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Carlos as well. He's going to be talking about developing an educational plan. We throw some of these in December, trying to prepare people for the new year. Can't start too early. And then the following week, Thor will be talking about managing the trader, not the trade, and how to know if your system is working. Then on Wednesday, we have psychology. This Wednesday, handling pressure, 8 p.m. Eastern. We had a late cancellation by Kreda. Seems she's going on vacation for the holiday, so she had to cancel this week. We will get that filled in and let you know what that is for next Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we've got mentorship at 11 a.m. with John and 8 p.m. with Thor. tradingterminal.com, what we are building out and improving every single day. Be sure to check it out, your one-stop shop for all your trading information needs, including all kinds of tools that people pay thousands of dollars a year for, from scanners to replay simulators to all that great stuff. And if you're watching on YouTube, you haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a shot, use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount off the intro membership. That's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. It bills you one time. It does not recur. If you'd like to continue on, you have to choose a different membership plan to sign up for. The promo code is PreMarket24. So no hyphens, no spaces, PreMarket, and then the number is 24.
All right. Thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. Okay, guys, let's get to it. Our list very small this morning. SPY is continuing, had a nice little drop here, creating a new low. So we'll have to see what happens there and if that's going to pull some more stocks into our red list here. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for right now, we have 3 that are very active. We have NEO, we have XBEV, and we have Tesla, all 3 of them with significant volume and a lot of movement this morning. So again, Chinese stocks doing very well. If you look at your gappers list, you can choose your favorites, a whole bunch there that are in play this morning. So let's do this. We'll do levels for what we have right now. I suspect we're going to get some more stuff that is going to come up that we can trade. But for right now, let's do levels for the stuff that's on our list here. So here's a NEO, guys, looking very good. 5.5 now. Volume is just pouring into this thing. High of the pre-market at 1434 at the moment. Towards the bottom, your low is slightly above the highs from yesterday and the previous day close over at 1350. So that is your highs and lows there. If we move over on the bigger time frame on the daily here, if we look over to the left, we'll get some more levels towards the top, because towards the bottom, you're pretty much set below 13 all the way down to 12. You have tons of action there, and that 12 being a really nice level that we finally broke out of last week. So if you notice that, we've been below that since mid-October. Tried a few times to get above that, were unsuccessful in early November, mid-November, and now we finally broke out of that and are looking pretty good as far as the daily for a possible run here. Towards the top, guys, some big levels. Big one here is at 1680. That one's a nice one there. And then down here as well, you have another one over at 15. Oh, didn't stay. 1680. There we go. And 1540. So 2 big levels there. That's all you need for right now. Let's see if NEO is going to have the strength to push higher here based on all the Chinese news related stocks that are moving with it. You got a bunch there. But again, the SPY right now kind of heading the other direction. So I'm not sure how that will affect these strong Chinese tickers today. Might taper that move a little bit there. So we'll see. Let's look at XPEV, another one that looks very well, very active as well this morning. We do have low of our pre-market down at 1237. Let's slam a level there, and then above that 1231 is the high of the pre-market. To the left, guys, we have tons of action here as well. More confirmation on those highs and lows there. Towards the bottom, you have the previous day close, but before you get there, there is a daily level. It's a lot of touch. I think almost all these 4 days here touch this 1201, right? You got opening and closing right at that 1201, and then below that previous day close. Now, towards the top, above this 1330, we do have a level here. Nice area, 1423. And then all the way towards the top, you have 1548. So some key levels there as far as support and resistance on SPEV, XPEV. And you have tons of volume, guys. 4 million right now, up 13%. So almost $2 there this morning. Here is Tesla. Let's remove some of the stuff we have on deck here. So we'll do that. And then the low of the pre-market are some, again, release on some incorrect data, or data was not accurate. That dropped the stock here. Now it's back up quite a bit there from the lows of the pre-market. Still not where it was this morning when it started, over at 194, just barely down. We're still down 2.6 on this thing now based on that. So let's look at some levels in between here below the price action right now. We do have an area around 188.36. So I'm going to do that there. That's a good level. Then below that, you have your 184.51, which is your pre-market low. And then below that, we have 179.06, and then over here 172. And for the fun of it, let's just mark it down. We have 167, 868 as well there. So we got plenty of levels on Baba. Towards the top, we have plenty of stuff as well. Highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. Do not need to add anything more, plus your previous day close. So let's see. Very active, guys. 5 million shares traded so far. So this thing is pretty active at the moment. And yeah, we do have time to Lucio to do some other levels as well, so we can look at Baba. I'm also looking out in the chat for in case you guys throw out anything else that you guys want to look at. So just throw it on there. We have time today to go to some stuff. Let me just make sure I got this this here, my YouTube chat right in front of me, so I don't miss it. And here we go. Okay, excellent. So yeah, so for Baba, guys, we could do levels for this. This thing is up again 4%. Has dropped quite a bit from the highs. I mean, the highs were at 95.20. We're now down to 93.66 here. Our low of our pre-market all the way down at 92.65. So we'll slam a level there. Towards the bottoms, you got plenty of stuff, guys. This thing has been running pretty nice the last couple of days. So again, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. I don't think you need this level here. Let's delete that one. That's the old one. I deleted everything. We'll do it again. Hold on. 95.20 high of the pre-market, and then low of the pre-market over at 92.60. So once you do that, guys, you're pretty set here. Towards the bottom, you have plenty of stuff. Now, towards the top, if we're able to push higher above this 95.18, let's head over here to the left, which, by the way, 95.18, no coincidence while we're stopping there. Just look at the action you're getting there as far as resistance in the past. You had a lot of it. So 95.18, an area where they struggled to get above this pre-market as well. Here, guys, we do have 98.89, and then all the way up here, the big level at 104.74. So plenty of stuff towards the top and bottom on Baba. This stock can go either way right now, but you're kind of getting a little drop from the highs on many of these stocks that were gapping up pretty big this morning. So let's see pre-market how that's going to continue. I'm going to say the SPY is what's going to costing this year, dropping quite a bit this morning, creating a new low the last couple of minutes. It was trying to hold at 404.80, did that for a couple of hour or two, actually an hour and a half or so, couldn't, and then you start to see the drop here the last couple of minutes. So that's going to affect some things there, of course. We'll see what the plan is as we are looking at the big day we had last week, right? We rallied nicely, went sideways for the last 2 days of the week, Thursday and Friday. Today could be a big day either way. So looking forward to that. What else you guys like this morning? Tesla had a nice pre-market setup at 822 as it broke above a 188. Yes. Yeah, this is a great setup right here. Yeah, I mean, it clearly that's very nice setup. I think that's where Norm kind of took his entry too, with the volume coming in there, right? So yeah, that's a nice pop. Um, hopefully you took advantage of that. When the stock is trading this well, like Tesla is, you can trade a pre-market and do well because again, the volume is in here. This thing looks like it's actually the market open already. Like the market open was a 7, right? So when you see that type of pre-market activity with that type of volume, that looks very good. Yeah, Norm took that Tesla trade. Yeah, he's out of it now, but he did take that trade earlier. BA and KWeb. Let's start with BA. What do we have with BA? Not really in play. There's not a whole lot of volume here, guys, at the moment. So I wouldn't put this on deck as of now. Their daily still not giving us anything great here. They had a little bit of a nice type breakout move on Friday. Didn't go too much as far as from the their recent high here, but the overall move was nice. Kind of covered the entire range they've been stuck in. But right now, man, just no volume. Really light on volume. So hopefully, they can get something. Let's look at KWeb. I think KWeb doesn't trade very well, if I remember correctly. Easy to remember a ticker that's like this, like KWeb. Yeah, but this is not an intraday trading stock, is it? It's an ETF. It's an ETF from yeah. So I don't trade ETFs, barely trade them. So just be careful if you're going to do this. I'm not sure how much this is leveraged. Probably is. I don't see it on the title there, but against Chinese internet ETF, very careful with that. Okay, the moves could be very wild. So again, not typically something I'll watch. BA Billy. Again, Billy, guys, you have tons of stuff you could pick as far as Chinese tickers. I'm going with Neo, XPEF, and Baba on my secondary, which volume started to come in here, million shares already. But as far as that, you can pick, DA is in play, although it looks really bad compared to everything else that we have as far as Chinese tickers. You can look at Lee. Lee is looking actually pretty decent. That's another one you could look at. Look at their daily. Their daily has gapped down a couple of times. Gap down here, sold up a little bit. Gap down here, sold up, and today's gapping up. So maybe today they can get that continuation they're looking for, seems like. Even Futu today is in play, guys. I mean, this thing has 418, up 5.3. Even this is in play, as nasty as that stock can be at times. Everything, Baidu, some other ones on here. So yeah, JD and PDD are both coming back here, but again, all of them in play this morning. Billy looks to be right up against major supply level. Is it Billy? Let's go. Yeah, that's a big level right there. I agree 100%. The 2312. I mean, no reason why we're struggling. Well, while we gapped up, and that is where we found kind of the resistance. I mean, you could clearly tell that's a big level for Billy. We held that for a while, all the way from June to September till we collapse here. And this happened. This is where Neo collapsed too. We started having fun with these, with the all Chinese lockdown and COVID stuff, and opening and closing and opening and closing. It was just messy. But overall, it was bad news for businesses, right? So we took advantage of that nice drop on Neo too. Neo had very similar action, right? Around the same time, it got bad for the Chinese tickers. Baba, same thing. Although Baba didn't drop as clean as Neo. This is why we kind of kept trading Neo. Baba didn't drop as clean as Neo and some other ones that you could have traded off that catalyst. Do I trade NFTs? No, I do not trade NFTs. I actually just it's funny. I opened up a Coinbase account, so I got some coins, whatever. I just opened up, not a lot. It's just it was just more of the process of opening the account. It was like $100. I opened up the account, and right when that happened, when I did that, I think like 2 days later, the FTX stuff comes out. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Not that it's gonna affect me, but it was just funny how the minute I open an account, I'm like, that happens. Like, yeah, this is not a good look at the moment. But yeah, I just opened the account just to kind of see what the process was, and it's weird because I opened it and I tried to use it, and you got to wait like a week for it to clear $100. It was weird. And I forgot about it, so I put it there. I forgot about it, and I get the email. Oh, you're now allowed to use your 100 whatever. I'm like, really? A week and a half later? I don't need it now. So it's weird the way it works. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know, but yeah, I don't trade NFTs. I don't trade coin. Not saying there's nothing wrong with it. Just you gotta have a plan. Just can't just be guessing and just going along with stuff. You have to really have a plan in place. I don't have a plan for NFTs. I don't have a plan for crypto. But again, there's some people that strongly believe that this is going to be great. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I mean, a lot of stuff starts like this where many people don't believe it's going to be great, and then it is. This one has a lot of people behind it that it's going to be the next best thing. So, you know, you can't deny how strong certain people feel about these type of vehicles to trade, right? So, best thing I can give you is just do your research, right? Do your homework. Spend time doing your homework. Don't invest in nothing. Don't get into something until you spend, 25, 30 hours just researching different material from different sources. Just do your homework. Do your homework. There's no there's no harm in doing that, right? Get yourself some good information before you start anything. Drive Rebo was formerly owned by Apex Clearing, owned by Peak Six in Chicago, recently sold to the Bats. Wow. Okay. They kept the same name, right, Jeff? Because Rebo's been around for a while, right? Crypto Ponzi scheme. No, I don't know if it's a Ponzi. Well, FTX was obviously that's different, right? But I don't know if it's a Ponzi scheme, man. I don't know that. I don't think it is. I think there's more to it, but you can't speak on what you don't know. I don't like to speak on something I don't know. My neighbor across the street, he's doing he's a young kid too. He's 20 and he's doing crypto. He's actually doing very well. Listen to his parents, still a young kid going to school, going to college, and he's doing well, man. He's doing very well. I talk to him all the time, and he just now bought his Tesla. So congrats to him. But when you see that Tesla outside, that's real. It's not a scheme. That's the real thing, right? So you just got to know what you're doing. You got to get educated. That's what I believe in. So I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's whatever the case may be. Just gotta know what you're doing. All right, guys. Any other tickers right now? I only still have Neo, XBEF, and Tesla. Here's source list: Amazon, Spy, Tesla, United Airlines, and BA. Is there anything going on with the airlines that I'm not aware of? Because I know someone else also brought up BA, and it's a coincidence that you guys are bringing it up because BA's not doing a whole lot. So maybe I'm missing something. Let me check my notes. Did I miss something on my friendly Oracle list here? Upgrades to airlines. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Why you guys are bringing it up. Okay. I don't see a whole lot going on with United Airlines right now. Only up 2%. Um, let's see. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. That makes sense. I saw a couple of you guys throwing out BA, and then Thor throws it out. I know there's got to be something behind it. So, rumor potential, a large buy, and some upgrades to airlines. Okay, that can play very nice depending on how things go. So I'll add BA to a secondary. Let's see how that gets going. I don't see a whole lot of airlines right now moving or doing much. But again, that could change if the market open or if any news breaks out throughout the day. RSI meant for swing trading rather than intraday trading. Um, Jack, I don't use RSI, but no, I know some people that actually use it for intraday trading, right? They'll use that information for their as one of their indicators for intraday trading, right? So yeah, I think you could do it for both. I don't think it's just for swing trading. But again, I don't use it for swing trading, so I can't tell you how effective it is as far how more effective it is for swing trading or day trading, and that I can tell. Read some books. Exactly, Chris. You gotta do your homework. You gotta do your homework. It's so easy to when you don't know something, and I gotta be careful because I do this at a time when I don't know something like NFTs. Man, to me that when that first came out, it's like this is a joke, and it still is some kind of some to me
Fungus.
some fungus. I remember I called it fungus. Like, what is this fungus stuff? And it still is some kind of a joke, but we joke around like that, but you got to do your homework. We don't like to speak on anything we don't know, and you got to do your homework on it, right? And some stuff sometimes seems off the wall when you don't know exactly what it is, right? So, and then some stuff we come across, Norm and I, we know exactly what it is, and it's pure garbage, and we know that, and it's pure garbage now, and it becomes pure garbage later. So
That's why we have
sometimes
a
some
hotkey. You have a hotkey for it.
exactly, we got a hockey. So some stuff is garbage, no matter how early in the stages it is, and it just gets worse down the line. So what they had a big run up on Friday. Rumors for a deal for providing 70 777s. I think this was a United Airlines. Okay. All right, we'll see. I mean,
supposedly there's a big United
mhm.
order coming for Boeing.
I don't see a lot going on, but let's see. We got both of these on there. We'll put United as
It's
well.
not easy. Boeing doesn't usually go too hard pre-market, so
Yeah, we'll see what this does here. All right, guys, 9:07. We got a couple of moderators throwing out their list here. We'll see what's going on in just a second. Any other questions or tickers you want us to look at? We got to make an NFT of Andrew. Yeah, set it up, man. Set it up. Tops is gapping down a lot with heavy volume. Tops, I'm not a fan of Tops. Tops one of the first tickers I looked at when I first started trading, not knowing a whole lot about the business. And I didn't actually put money in it or lose a lot of money in it, but man, it's just garbage. It's a penny garbage stock. And look at this thing this morning. So you guys remember on Friday, it's gapped up to 6. Look at it now.
it's a
$1.
secondary.
Is it secondary? Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, man. Just this is nasty stuff. I don't hate this.
Yeah, their market cap on the their market cap at the end of the day on Friday was 10.2 million.
Mhm.
This is a secondary for 13.5 million, so larger than their market cap was on Friday. Very strange.
Very
Just
strange.
be careful with that, guys.
Yeah, I stay away from stuff like this, man.
Those marine shipping companies are known for some crazy volatility at times.
Yeah. So careful. None of this. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, guys, we're all set. Apple, AMD. Oh yeah, let's look at Apple and AMD. Are usual suspects? Are they doing anything besides overall market movement? No, they're pretty flat today. Apple actually looks pretty, as far as pre-market, not great. Daily does look good, right? We kind of had just kind of this sideways action right now for a possible breakout, hopefully. But AMD, I don't see anything great on these stickers today. AMD, 173,000 shares traded. The only person that's gonna have this on their list today is you know who. We love you, buddy. We love you. You know who's gonna have this on their list today. But aside from that, it's not in play. All right, guys, let's take a look at the moderators list. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. It does help out the channel. Sitting at 130 likes, love to be over 200. 250 will be amazing to start off the week on the right foot of things. So help us get there. Let me bring our moderators list here, and we can see what is going on, what our team is watching here. All right, let's go over here. Guys, reminder too, Thor's book is out, and I know you guys know this already, but if you haven't picked it up already, you could do so. There's the link. Also, the link should be in our YouTube chat as well, so go check that out. Thor's list, speaking of him, Amazon, SPY, Tesla, United Airlines, and BA. No IPOs, no SPACs for today. And as I mentioned earlier, of course, Peter will have AMD on deck, Tesla, Apple, and secondary list, XPEV, NEO, and there are some to be determined in a bit here. Megan, looking at Tesla, PDD, and Meta for today. We'll leave this list right on here. Let's see who else has anything that we can take a look at here. Yeah, I read Brett's comment, but I don't know if he was talking about crypto or something else or NFT.
I think he was talking about crypto. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Which, yes, makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. I think NVIDIA has a decent volume. I am not sure.
Yeah.
What's their volume on NVIDIA?
Over 1 million.
Oh, yeah?
1.1 just about. Just doesn't really have a gap.
Yeah, it's not really moving, but I do like the volume. You know what? I'll add it on here. We have space for it. And I think a lot of these tickers, NVIDIA
on the daily.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They have very similar daily. So I like what's happening there. So it really can go either way, guys, on this one. Let's remove some levels there. And I'm not going to add levels to it, but you're really pretty much stuck between right in the middle of the highs and lows, previous day close. You're in a good place in NVIDIA. And I like the fact that they actually have volume today. So that's good. So yeah, we'll keep that on there. Quick look at our secondary list. We have Baba, again, just coming down here from the highs a little bit. IOVA. This is up 20%. Something about this I'm not a fan of. What's the float on this, by the way? Is
142 million.
Yeah, it's just maybe the price. Maybe I don't like the price. I don't know, something about it. I mean, this is in play, but I have it as a possible because I'm just not a fan of the way this thing is setting up, I guess. ATVI coming down here a little bit as well, down up 1.4, down from the highs. Oxy not doing a whole lot, but that's okay. BA and United for some possible news breakout or activity when the volume actually comes in. I mean, if you look at United's daily, besides the volume, daily looks good, right? For a possible breakout. If this news is going to be strong, hopefully we can hit that 45.58 and higher on United Airlines here. Billy, yeah, Billy, guys, all the Chinese stocks you can look at. There's tons of ones that are active this morning. Pick your favorite. I got a few on already. Let's take a look at AMC. I know this was active. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago we had the huge breakout here, and then something on Thursday, but not a whole lot going on. This is very light volume for AMC. 350 is not enough for us this morning. Um, we need a whole lot more for that to be active. Uh, all right, guys, we are pretty much set here. Amazon, we didn't look at Amazon. I know someone mentioned this one, and we also Thor has it on his list. Yeah, just kind of following the overall market. This one here with some volume, by the way, so not bad because some other ones that don't have the volume, but just kind of following the overall market could be a good one actually for today. I like the volume on it.
There's some word they're having issues with AWS, which is a huge chunk of their business.
Oh, that's not good.
The overall slowdown is hurting it. So
Yeah. That's not good. Couple of levels below, guys. 91.63, 90.59, and 88.32. I don't think we'll get to the 88.82, 32, but we're prepared if it does. Great pre-market activity, by the way. This looks really good. Very active. Just getting into the red here. So not down a whole lot, but pretty much down significant from the highs over at 94.87. As far as the pre-market activity goes now. ATVI, I have it as a possible, David. So I have it as a possible right now. I mean, it popped up here and it kind of sold off a little bit. It's up 1.4. Who knows? It can. We'll have to see at the market open how well this is going to trade. If it comes back to 76 here, it might not just do anything. So we'll have to see at the market open. Neil going to start running like Tesla did a few years ago. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, we're seeing some strength here. Um, these stocks have been beat up a lot, guys. They've been beat up a ton. So any sign of positive, catalyst news or anything, they're gonna run. But I don't know if they're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna run like a Tesla though, right? That's if you guys remember
it's a
how
tall
Tesla
ask.
ran. Yeah, it is. Tesla ran. What was it? We had a split every year, like every year.
Yeah, we had multiple splits.
I mean, it's madness. All right, here's the man Brian with his list. We'll look at this, then we'll call it a day, guys. Here is Brian looking at PDD, or call it a morning day, still very early. CPNG, Baba, Tesla, IOVA for fun. There we go. We got it for fun early this week from Brian. So very, very nice. Guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much. Have an amazing trading day today. We will see you guys tonight for the onboarding class at 8 p.m. And if not, we will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Engineering the Markets, Jared getting us started, and then Norman and I coming in around 8:30. So take care, guys. Stay safe. Brian and Andrew are up next in our chat. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. Trade safe. Hope you have a wonderful start to your week.